All right, guys, think of this scenario. It has just been a fight night at the Apex with Holly Holm headlining it, a Holly Holm event. And Dana White comes to the table and says, we just set the all-time gate record. Yes, at the Apex. Actually, it wasn't even a pay-per-view, but we set the all-time pay-per-view record. Yeah, we broke records. He has said this every event. We set records. We set gate records. We set pay-per-view. He has always said this. It makes you think your typical Holly Holm event is like a McGregor event from 2016, pay-per-view wise. It just doesn't make any sense. So yeah, apparently every UFC event in 2023 and on has been a McGregor level event by his post-fight interviews. So it's getting annoying. All right. I came across an interview with the first question guy, and they talk about gate numbers and they talk about pay-per-view numbers. And I'm just going to play the clip, and then I'll talk about what I think about it. Because right now they're talking about going head-to-head with Canelo and how they're guaranteeing the gate at MGM that was stolen from Dana. Although Dana is basically guaranteeing the gate here, or he's always been guaranteeing it, saying that it set records. You're guaranteeing it then. So let's just play this.
Do what they're going to do on Saturday night, and it is what it is. Biggest gate in UFC history already, and the biggest event ever for pre-buys leading up to an event.
Really, with the pay-per-view sales?
Yeah.
Wow.
So the week
ever,
the week before an event, the most pre-pay-per-view buys ever in the history of the company.
That's incredible.
All right, pre-buys, biggest ever in the history of the company a week before the event. So the way pay-per-view works, or pre-buys, I assume they're like pre-orders for video games. The higher number of pre-orders you have shows the interest level of the game or of the event, whatever. So if he has the highest number of pre-buys ever, that means that this event has the most interest in it ever, which means it should naturally sell more than McGregor and Khabib, which is the highest selling pay-per-view event in UFC history with 2.4 million sold. Because, for example, if you're selling a product and 5 people pre-order it, so you sell the 5 and then maybe 5 more buy it after launch, you sold 10. If you have a product and you have 50 pre-orders, naturally it's a more popular and in-demand product. So you'll sell those 50 and then you'll get more buys, more than the first product's buys, because it's just a more popular product. You pre-order 50, you'll sell maybe 100 after that. So if this event has higher pre-orders than Khabib McGregor, it would make sense to then sell more on the night of the fight than Khabib McGregor did. It doesn't make sense to have more pre-buys but then sell less overall. It just doesn't make sense. So, and with the whole gate thing, I think the gate I saw was like 22 million they have. They wanted more, but they had to lower the prices because they spent 20 million. So they're profiting a couple million, but obviously that's not good for them. This is the gate. I found gates here. This is 2016, the UFC 205 with McGregor Alvarez at 17.7 million. It's number 1. Number 2, let's see, 17.1 million or 17.2 million. Khabib McGregor. The gate here for this event is 22 million. So yeah, if that's the case, then it will be the highest selling gate, which he's being honest there. I just want to see the pay-per-view numbers, but I don't think they released those if I remember correctly. So yeah, apparently this is going to sell more than 2.4 million pay-per-view buys. If this actually does though, I will make an apology video if this actually does. All right, so we move on. Yeah, I have in the title and thumbnail about Mexico. So Dana has been glazing the Mexican fan base, Mexico in general, their culture, their grandmothers even. He's talking about their grandmas cooking. So I'm going to show you guys a little reminder about the Mexican crowd here. This was from September 2019. The UFC had not gone back to Mexico until like early 2024. So this woman looks devastated in the background, horrified. I'm just going to remind you real quick.
Oh, come on! Well, that
What had just happened was Jeremy Steven got eye poked by I forgot his name, the Mexican guy with the kicks and stuff, Rodriguez, I think, and the fight got canceled because he couldn't continue with the damaged eye. The Mexican crowd seemed to understand the situation, and Rodriguez definitely did not call Bisping the B word in Spanish.
And now they're going to come raining down. Look out. They came here to see Yair Rodriguez.
And the crowd are not happy.
So,
Jeez Louise.
I'm going to just duck under the table here.
Yeah.
They came to see their guy, so I'm the table.
Look at the woman in the background.
Jeez Louise.
I'm going to just duck under the table here.
Yeah.
They came to see their guy, so I'm going to take cover. Whoever else can get under here. Susie.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I just got Modelo in the face. No, it's okay. I don't hide, Brendan.
I mean, I guess it's just a dry cleaning bill, but you hate to see it.
So Bisping's up. He's like, bring it on. Throw the Modelo in the face because I think they were getting sponsored by Modelo. So he's like, let me do a little plug right now. Yeah, this was disgusting behavior. The fans should know, like, listen, this is the commission. They're like, listen, you can't continue. Why are you throwing stuff at the UFC employees? I know they're trying to throw it in the octagon, but they're still UFC employees in the octagon. Unless they're aiming for the commission, I don't know. But Bisping got hit in the face by Modelo, so obviously not. And so yeah, disgusting. They did not go back to Mexico. But ever since then, Dana has still been talking about, we're not going to Mexico. No, we're just not going. We're just not going. But Mexican Independence Day, we love Mexico. We'll celebrate it in the US. It's very funny. So this is Dana on glazing Mexico and just Mexican people and the culture. And I just think it's very disingenuous, and I'll show you why in a second.
Something that was just recently announced was you guys are going to have a few films in between fights and everything. Just talk to me about that.
Yeah, so the entire thing is considered a film, and then there's chapters inside this film. And it's basically, like I said, the love letter to Mexico. I am going to tell the story of the beginning of time in Mexico all the way up into the future of Mexico.
Why? Just why? Love letter to Mexico, the beginning of time in Mexico to the future. You're going to talk about the Spanish colonizing it? Like, what do you mean? Are you going to talk about the Aztecs and the Mayans? And then the Spanish colonizing it? Like, what are you talking about here?
You know, the history, the traditions, the people and who they are and where they came from. And if you are Mexican, you will absolutely love to be there in the Sphere or watching on television. It's going to be cool.
I'm sure the Sphere audience will be mostly Americans thinking, why am I watching this? I don't care about Mexico in 1857.
Yeah, that's something I did want to ask. Obviously, people who are going to be at the event are going to get a first-hand view. You mentioned before that you're going to get more trucks involved with the production and everything. Just what are some of the things that people who are going to watch on TV are going to expect just to have as similar of an experience as possible?
Well, first of all, this show, this love letter to Mexico, I call it, is authentic.
He's authentic. He's basically saying, people of Mexico, the entire Mexican population, please just buy this pay-per-view, please.
Authentic to the people, their heritage. I mean, even the Octagon girls. There's 9 Octagon girls, and they're all first-generation Mexican from Mexico.
Joe Rogan, he's Mexican. Octagon girls, flew them in from Mexico. Sponsors, Mexican restaurant I eat down the street near the Strip. You know, go to the MGM, the Apex, then hit up this Mexican restaurant. It's our sponsor. It's Mexican.
Bro.
It's so fun. It's so weird though. Octagon girls. first generation Mexico. It's like when they hold an event in Africa, if they ever do, it's like green girls, black. It's just so weird and unnecessary.
You know, the movie that you will see, the chapters that you will see, to what goes on live inside the Sphere. Everything. I've said this many times. Some of the baddest people to ever walk the face of the earth have been Mexican. So there's so many things that I love about Mexico and the Mexican
Yeah, the cartel.
people. Their pride in their country, their pride in who they are and where they come from, the support they give each other as a people. Mexicans are known to be hardworking people who go out and work hard all week.
Dude, okay, the glazing is really picking up here. You could say this about any country in the world. Talk about, we got Brazil in the background. Hardworking people, they are very nationalistic. What else? Yeah. What he just said, you could say about any country in the world, mostly any country.
Spend their whole paycheck supporting other Mexicans, whether it's, you know, food or the beer or sports, fights, music, whatever it is. And I love how family oriented they are. Everything is based around family.
Most countries in the world is based around family. Most countries. I've been to many countries. I live right now not in the US, and this country is also very family oriented. That's anywhere in the world. No one's going to have a kid and then just like, oh, happy 4th birthday. We're leaving and you could stay with your grandparents, but they're leaving too, so go get a job. Like, every country's family oriented.
Usually the grandmother, you know, is
This is where it starts to get crazy.
you know, the head figure in the family.
Yep.
Her food and how she cooked and what you ate at certain holidays and things like that. Just all of that is a part of Noche UFC.
Every culture, you go to the grandparents and they cook. That's in every culture.
I feel like I could get to the production rabbit hole down with you for this. I don't know if you've watched as much WWE, but they've started to kind of experiment different transitions.
And they get about, in a lot of these interviews, they start getting into the production side of things, which is actually really annoying lately with the UFC. They're just talking about production and how the shows go and how they make the shows. And it's like, nobody really cares. All right. So we have that. This interview here, this was an interview. Dana's doing all interviews. He's really trying to promote this. So is Sean O'Malley. This woman was asking some good questions. I'll just tell you right now, there were questions at the end. I won't show it. Basically saying, like, oh, you love Mexico, but this is an event that is sponsored by Saudi Arabian money. Isn't that weird? And it's their sponsor. I don't think it's weird, but she says it in a way that it's like, you should be ashamed that you're taking money from, you're bought from the Middle East. They bought you and they suppress women. That's what she's saying. Like, and then when she says, isn't that weird? She's saying like, aren't you ashamed? That's basically it. And he kind of just glazes over that. Then she brings up his boxing, if he's going to do more with boxing, and will he team up with the one head guy in the Middle East who is the one getting these events funded, I guess, I think. And she's like, are you going to team up with him again and do boxing as well? Basically saying, you're in bed with this guy from Saudi Arabia. And I mean, yeah, we saw this coming. That's why we get events headlined by Rose Namajunas, while events in Saudi Arabia, Abu Dhabi get out. What's a huge name that was there recently? Like, yeah, Tony, Nick Diaz. I'm forgetting, but they get any major pay-per-view, they get. And it's not surprising because they started with the WWE, if you remember, and now the WWE and the UFC are under one roof. And Crown Jewel, WWE, they forced Undertaker out of retirement. They forced Triple H out of retirement. I might actually make a whole video about this because I remember this. 2019, they're like, we don't want Sami Zayn. We don't want the New Day. We don't want these new wrestlers. We don't care. Which are not even new. They've just been around like 10 years. They're like, we want like the wrestlers from 20 years ago, like 1999 wrestlers who are already retired. So, yeah, I wasn't shocked seeing Nick Diaz on the fight card in a Saudi Arabia card. All right, so let's get into this here.
And boxing is so ingrained in the Mexican culture that I was in Mexico City a couple months ago driving to the arena.
This is funny. He's going to see, I was in Mexico City, and guess what I saw?
And we drove by a playground, right? Swing sets, monkey bars, there was a boxing ring in the middle of the playground. You know what I mean? And I'm blown away by that. I literally had the guy stop and I filmed it. That's how ingrained there's literally boxing gloves running through their veins.
All right. So Dana White learned that there's boxing gloves running through their veins and that they have boxing gloves or boxing rings in the playgrounds. And that's when he knew I had to do an event at the Sphere.
Mexico. So
with Mexican fighters who no one has heard of besides Brian Ortega.
I've been working for a long time to create talent and get our brand and MMA down there.
That he just said the truth. He slipped up and said the truth for a second there. Get our brand down there. Get our brand in MMA down there. That's the whole reason for all of this. Not the grandmothers cooking, not the family oriented. Get our brand down there.
The PI is going to be a game changer for us. You know, we're taking all these kids on off the streets in Mexico City and training, and everything's free. You come in and everything is free. Food, supplements.
This is all an investment. The PI, getting kids off the street, which you'll have to check into that. Are they actually taking kids in who are like, hey, can I get some free food and supplements and do a couple punches on the punching bag? And can you give therapy to my knee? Because you say there's free doctors there. I doubt that's the case. I guarantee you it's going to be rich families only who can pay to have their kids go there.
Training, equipment, the physical therapy, you name it, it's all free. And what will happen is, obviously we'll get some kids that will become professional fighters, world champions, whatever. Not everybody will. Other people will become trainers, but some way, some.
And then the other people, if they're not fighters or trainers, will be kicked the fuck out unless you want to pay us this $400 a month gym membership.
Somehow they will touch the business in the future.
And that Performance Institute is one of 3 in the entire world. So
right.
One.
All right, she just said the bit of truth here. 1 of 3 in the entire world.
Here in Vegas, the other in China, and then Mexico. Why Mexico?
And coming soon, the Middle East.
Right there. So Mexico isn't special. It's Vegas, China, Mexico, and then the Middle East. It's because of the markets he's trying to break into. So he already has North America, like Canada, US. He just doesn't have Mexico fully yet. And he knows there's potential for more than what he does have because they are like fighting fans. Already has Europe, already Australia, New Zealand. Who knows? Africa, the world acts like Africa doesn't even exist on this planet. And Eastern Europe, Russia. Actually, no. There's the Russia is because of Khabib and stuff. Khabib and that whole gang, even though they're not even Russian, they're Dagestani. Their country was just conquered by Russia, so they're Russian now. And yeah. Right here, he says, soon to be Middle East. So he's just building PIs to capture the rest of the world's markets that he hasn't captured yet. So Middle East, they have been getting big there since the pandemic with Fight Island. So he's trying to capture all that. China, he wants to be in the East, get the big whole China market, Asian market. Mexico, he already has Brazil. I forgot to mention that. They already have South America with Brazil. They already have the UK and Europe. And they already obviously have America, Canada, and Australia, New Zealand. So it's Mexico, what I'm saying, Mexico isn't a special thing. It's just, like he said, getting our brand. It's just dumb with the pandering. I can't stand the pandering. You're a business. You're trying to grow. Just say it. Stop pandering about the grandma's cooked dinner.
We're building one in the Middle East too. Mexico was important to me. Mexico, there's other places that I want to build performance institutes, but Mexico was first for me. It was very important to me.
How much have you spent on this event, this Noche?
So she asks him why Mexico. And did you catch what he says? I'll go back.
Mexico, we're building one in
China and then Mexico. Why Mexico?
And
Why Mexico?
coming soon, the Middle East. We're building one in the Middle East too. Mexico was important to me. Mexico, there's other places that I want to build performance institutes, but Mexico was first for me. It was very important to me.
So he just says Mexico's important to me. Like it really is, because I wanted to build elsewhere, but Mexico is important to me. But you're building the PI, or you just built it, but you're already building the one in the Middle East, and you already had the one built in China too, which might have been before Mexico. I'm not exactly sure. But no, it's not like you were building one and had to wait 5 years to build the other one. Mexico, he just says Mexico's important to me. He doesn't say why. He doesn't say why, and let me see. Yeah, that's everything. He doesn't say why because it's not important to him. He just is like, oh, it's a major Mexican holiday right now. On a Saturday, we're doing a fight event. Let's put on a fight event for Mexican Independence Day and with some Mexican fighters. And we'll gain more fans and get more pay-per-views that way and beat Canelo and beat the MGM Grand that, as Dana said, fucked him over. Yeah, that's a non-answer. Mexico's important to me. No. It's important. It's like, what is it? Black History Month or Gay Pride Month, where for companies, it's important to them for that month. And then right after that month ends, they don't care. This is the same thing for Dana White. This is a big, Mexico is his favorite thing in the world. There's boxing rings in the playground. But after Saturday, come Sunday, he's going to say, wait, where's Mexico? That, like, New Mexico? John Jones is in New Mexico. All right. That's all I have for you today, guys. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.